without you, my God, dear my God, oh, save me from the snares of hell. Thou the dead and live. I'm tempted to sin, and outward deeds are strong to doubt. Oh Lord, keep watch within and save my soul from wrong. Still let me watch and pray and feel that I am afraid that if the tempter's cross my way, yet he may not prevail. A pleasant and blessed morning. Welcome back to HDM's Morning Devotion. My name is Sister Aisha, and today's topic I have for you today is continue to be good even when in captivity. So first we're gonna get the definition out of the way of captivity, so that way when I read the scripture we're in one accord. Captivity is the condition of being imprisoned or confined, so i.e. restricted or in a place or area. And today's scripture is going to be coming from Jeremiah 29 verse 14, and it reads, "And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive." And may God add a blessing to his holy word. I will rest at that verse. In other words, this topic states again, continue to be good even when in captivity. And when we talk about continue in this topic, we're talking about persistence. So we must continue to have persistence in doing good and being good in spite of our captivity, right? So another aspect we can look at this topic is, in spite of your location, it should not depict your state of living, neither being ungrateful towards your environment. However, or rather, how you should learn to live with where you are at and what you have available to you and adapt. Handle your captivity or state of exile with care. You see, God does not place you in a captivity and just abandon you. It's quite the opposite. He uses captivity as a place where you can learn / punishment, be taught, feel his presence, or transform our lives. Sometimes you must be placed in a cantonment to learn, because if you are not in a place or area to learn a lesson, you leave no room to be taught. So continue to be good and remain teachable is where we're getting at. So there are so many instances where captivity takes place or one is tested, right? And I'm gonna go and talk about in Acts first, when it talks about Peter being arrested. So in Acts 12 verse 1 to 19, I'm just gonna have a summary of it. Basically, what amazes me is that Peter was in prison. Not only was he in prison, it was a night where he was sleeping in between two guards. Not only was he sleeping in between two guards, he had 2 chains. Not only did he have two chains, but there was also a guard that was guarding the prison. So being in this captivity moment, of this constraint moment, and this imprisonment, feeling like there is no way out, God sent an angel to rescue him, basically to set him free and lead him to somewhere. And you ever feel like you cannot breathe? Like, when I mean, I'm not talking about like cannot breathe. I'm talking about cannot breathe. I'm talking about carnally, spiritual, cannot breathe. You're suffocating and you feel like there's no way out. However, God swoops in and sends his angels charge over you to be set free. And that's exactly what happened to Peter. He went to Mary's house, the mother of John, who's also known as Mark, in this instance. And as though the angel led him, he thought that was a vision, but he didn't know that was real life. And sometimes you don't think something is wrong with you until God sends someone to tell you that something is wrong with you, or like, hey, this is your captivity season. However, don't give up. Treat it with kindness. So once he realized, he came to his senses, he knocked on the door, and this young servant, basically named Rhoda, she came to the door and he uttered his voice, basically, and she recognized his voice. And she was just like, this is Peter. But she didn't open the door. She just went to go tell the good news. And they marveled, and like, they didn't marvel yet. They were like, you're crazy. In your captivity, people are going to think you're crazy. However, don't allow them to fester that thought in your brain cells. Like, don't allow them to let that take over your brain cells, because you're not crazy. You're changing. You're not crazy. You're transforming. You're not crazy. You have a punishment or a lesson to be learned. You're not crazy, right? So although he kept knocking the door, in spite of her telling them like, hey, this is Peter at the door, they're like, yeah, I don't still believe you. Until the physical eye saw it. When they opened the door, they marveled. They were like so shocked. And you don't have to, you don't have to force somebody to believe you when God is speaking to you. There's no need to do that, right? Okay, moving on to our next story, where we talk about the fiery furnace. So sometimes you're going to be in captivity where there are going to be people that want you to believe in other gods, or that wants you to follow what they believe in, and it's up to you to stand firm in what you believe in, and who you know, who has woken you up this morning, who has placed you on this earth, and that is God. But once you put your foot down, like, unfortunately, you're gonna have to go through whatever punishment that person wants you to go through. So in this case, it was the fiery furnace, because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not want to worship a golden image, right? So this was their punishment. However, one thing about God, in your captivity, he will never abandon you. He will always ensure that his presence is made known to you, and you will continue to feel his presence each and every step of the way. So not only did they go through the fiery furnace and not get touched or burned, but God was also there with them. I just want to encourage you that God is with you, that you are not alone in this state of captivity, this state of being exiled. Okay. In this state of being exiled. However, I don't want you to ever feel like this is the end all be all. Yes, it's going to be challenging. Yes, you're going to be tested continuously. However, do not give up, and continue to use your captivity to show the extra kindness that you actually have in you, that you feel like you don't. But it's in there. It's in there. Just reach in further, because you never know what someone is going through. It's not good to beat fire with fire. And I'm learning that it's something so easy to be said, but when you're placed in a situation and that becomes tested, then you know. But I pray that you're able to recognize your moments where your state of captivity is being tested. Your goodness is being tested. Your what will God do or have me to do in this moment is being tested. I pray that you hold on and keep the faith. I love you all, and ciao.